what could happen is a part of the chromosome can be deleted. That could be missing from the cell. Some genes are completely missing. Or there could be an amplification, and this happens in a vast majority of cancers. Have you heard of an oncogene called MYC? It's a very famous, my PI has a joke that if you're working on cancer, you're probably working on MYC. And if you're working on a cancer and not on MYC, then it just means that you don't know that you're working on MYC, because I think MYC is amplified in about 80% of all cancers, and that's what happens most of the time. That's a genomic instability. You could have inversions. So if you imagine a chromosome with all the genes are in a specific sequence, A, B, C, D, it could be completely inverted, and you could have E, D, going back. Or it could be translocated, where there are bits and pieces of the gene are swapped with another chromosome. And this is what I'll be talking about. So if you look at translocations, you have like a small bit of chromosome 1, a small bit of chromosome 2, and they are just swapped from each other. And specifically in the disease I work on, in chromosome 18, there's the gene SS18. It's been labeled SS18 because it lives on chromosome 18. And chromosome X, again, every one of us has chromosome X. The genes SS18 and SSX, which is a gene on the X chromosome, they get translocated and they form what is called a fusion protein. That means part of the gene SS18 is aberrantly fused to part of the gene SSX. It could fuse to SSX1 or SSX2. They are different versions of the same thing. So if you look at it, right, gene A or gene B, what are these genes? They are pieces of DNA, right, in your chromosome. So genes live in chromosomes and they are DNA. Now this DNA is transcribed into an mRNA. As you can see, there are poly-A chains for this mRNA. This mRNA is then translated into a protein. And proteins have a very specific structure, and they have a very specific shape. So the orange gene gives rise to an orange protein, which looks like two blobs with a small squiggly thing in between connected.